The Butcher of the Moon. In the heart of the village of Igbodu, there lived a man named OBINNA. OBINNA was a man of immense size, his belly bulging like a well-fed drum. His laughter was a thunderous rumble, and his appetite was insatiable. He owned a small butcher's shop where he sold the finest cuts of meat in the land. But there was a secret about OBINNA that few dared to whisper. He was not just a butcher, he was a cannibal. OBINNA had a peculiar way of acquiring his meat. He would wander the village at night, his eyes glowing with an unnatural hunger. He would seek out the weakest, the most vulnerable, and the most unsuspecting. With a swift and silent move, he would snatch them up and drag them to his butcher's shop. There, in the dead of night, he would turn them into the finest cuts of meat. The villagers were terrified of OBINNA, but they were also too afraid to confront him. They knew that he was powerful and dangerous, and they feared that he might turn on them if they angered him. So they kept their secrets and their fears to themselves, hoping that he would never discover their suspicions. One night, a young woman named Amina disappeared. Her mother, a wise old woman named Ezin, knew that OBINNA was responsible. She gathered the villagers together and told them of her suspicions. The villagers were shocked and horrified, but they knew that Ezin was right. Together, they devised a plan to confront OBINNA. They waited until he was asleep, then they crept into his butcher's shop. They found him, his belly swollen with the remains of his victims. With a cry of rage, they attacked him. After a long and brutal struggle, they managed to overpower him. They bound OBINNA and dragged him to the village square. There, they sentenced him to death. A crowd gathered to witness the execution. As OBINNA was about to be hanged, he looked up at the moon and said, "I am the butcher of the moon. I have fed on the flesh of the stars." With those words, he was hanged. And from that day forward, the people of Igbodu lived in peace, knowing that the butcher of the moon was no more.